Hello, my dear friend. Welcome to our special place for learning. My name is Anna, and this is the VUS Learning English Podcast. I am so happy that you are here today. If this is your first time listening, a very warm welcome to you. And if you are a returning listener, welcome back. It is wonderful to have you with us again. Today, we are going to talk about something very important. It is something that can help every single one of us. We are going to learn how to study, but not just study. We are going to learn how to study something one time and remember it forever. This episode is here to help you feel strong and confident. It is here to make learning feel happier and lighter and more fun. Thank you so much for choosing to be here today. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Your time is a beautiful gift, and I am so grateful to share this time with you. If you enjoy our time together today, please think about following or subscribing to our podcast. When you do that, it helps our small podcast grow. It helps more English learners just like you find our little family. I have a question for you. Where are you listening from today? Are you in the United States or India? Or maybe somewhere in Europe? It is such a beautiful thought to imagine all of us all around the world learning together in this moment. You are not alone. We are all here together. So find a quiet place. Maybe get a warm cup of tea. Let's begin this journey together. I want you to imagine something with me. Do you know this feeling? You have a very big test coming soon, an important exam. And you know you need to study, so you sit down at your desk. You study for many hours. Maybe you even study all night long. You do not sleep. You just study and study and study. Your desk is a busy place. It is full of books. It is full of papers. It is full of pens and highlighters. You can barely read your own notes. You feel so tired. Your eyes are tired. Your mind is tired. But you feel like you did it. You feel like you have pushed all that information into your brain. You think, okay, I am ready. I finally learned it all. Then you go and you take the test and you pass. You get a good score. You feel happy and relieved. All that hard work was worth it. But then something happens. Maybe 1 week goes by and someone asks you a question about that topic. You try to remember the answer. You search inside your mind. But it is empty. It feels like your memory has been wiped clean. Like a clean whiteboard with nothing on it. Poof. All that information, all that effort, all those hours you spent studying. It feels like it is completely gone. This is a very sad feeling, isn't it? It can make you feel down. It can make you feel like you failed. It is a cycle. You study hard, you pass the test, and then you forget. And this cycle can make you ask a question. Why did I even try so hard? What was the point? My friend, if you have ever felt this way, please know this. You are not alone. So many good, smart, wonderful people feel this exact same way. It is a very common story. But what if I told you something wonderful? What if I told you there is another way, a better way? What if there is a way to study something just one time and really truly lock it into your memory? Not for just one day, not for just 1 week, but for many months or even for many years. What if the big secret was not about studying harder? What if the secret was about studying smarter? The ideas I am going to share with you today are not magic tricks. They are not impossible dreams. They are powerful strategies. They are backed by science. They are real ways to help your brain learn and remember. Top performers in every field use these ideas. Medical students who have to learn so much information use them. Memory champions, the people who can remember thousands of numbers, use them. They use these ideas to remember almost everything they learn. And do you want to know the best part? Often it means you will study less, not more. Yes, that is right. Less time studying, but more learning. So please stick with me today. Listen with a soft heart and an open mind. Because by the end of our time together, you will have a complete blueprint, a beautiful, clear map, a new plan to change how you learn forever. You can do this. I know you can. Let's learn how. Before we can fix a problem, we need to understand it. We need to understand our enemy. So why does our brain do this? Our brain is an incredible supercomputer. It is so powerful. So why does it seem to throw information away so easily? This sad experience has a name. It is called the forgetting curve. Let me tell you a little story. A long, long time ago, back in the 1880s, there was a psychologist from Germany. His name was Hermann Ebbinghaus. Hermann was very curious about how memory works. So he did some interesting experiments on himself. He would create long lists of nonsense syllables. These were not real words. They were just sounds like VAP or DAX. He would memorize these long, strange lists. Then he would test himself over time to see how much he remembered. He tested himself after 1 day, after 2 days, after 1 week. What he discovered was shocking. It changed how we understand memory. He found that we forget things very, very fast. He called this an exponential speed. It means the forgetting starts fast and then slows down a little. He discovered that you can forget as much as 70% of what you just learned. Within the first 24 hours, 70%. Imagine you learn 10 new English words today. According to Hermann's work, tomorrow you might only remember 3 of them. And what about 1 week later? That number can go up to 90%. After 1 week, you might only remember 1 of those 10 words. That steep drop, that fast forgetting, that is the forgetting curve. And it is the reason why your all-night study sessions feel like a waste of time later. You put the information in and the curve pulls it right back out. Now you might be thinking to yourself, but Anna, I do review my notes. I do. I reread the textbook chapters. I highlight all the important sentences in bright colors. And this brings us to the second big problem. This problem is very sneaky. It is called the illusion of knowing. An illusion is something that tricks you. It looks real, but it is not. The illusion of knowing tricks you into thinking you have learned something when you have not. Most of us in school were never really taught how to study. We were given books and told to learn. So we just do what feels right. We do what feels easy. And what feels easy? Rereading our notes, highlighting sentences, summarizing chapters. These are all forms of what scientists call passive review. Passive means you are like an audience member in a theater. You are just sitting and watching. You are not on the stage doing the action. When you reread a chapter in your book, the words start to look familiar. Your brain sees the words, the pictures, the layout of the page, and your brain says, "Oh yes, I remember this. I have seen this before. Your brain confuses this feeling of familiarity with real knowledge, with true mastery. You feel like you know it, but you have not really checked. Have you checked if you can pull that information out of your head from scratch without looking at the book? It is like this. Imagine you are trying to solve a difficult puzzle. You get frustrated, so you look at the answer key. You see the finished picture. You think to yourself, oh, of course, that's how it goes. I know how to solve it now. But do you really? Recognizing the solution is a million miles away from creating the solution yourself. Many studies have shown that passive review gives you almost zero benefit for your long-term memory. Zero. Passive review is the junk food of learning. It is like eating a bag of candy. It feels good in the moment. It feels easy, but it leaves you with nothing real, nothing of substance. To truly learn something, to carve it into the pathways of your brain, you have to change your role. You must move from being a passive observer to an active participant. You must get on the stage and act. The methods we are about to cover are all designed to do just that. They are active methods. They are the tools you will use to fight the forgetting curve, to flatten that curve. They will help you build a memory that actually lasts. A memory that serves you for a long time. Section 1. The foundation from maintenance to elaboration. The very first change we need to make is a shift in our minds, a change in our goal. From now on, your goal is no longer to memorize. Your goal is to understand. This might sound like a small change, might sound obvious. But the difference between memorizing and understanding is everything. It is the difference between a house built on sand and a house built on rock. Psychologists, the people who study the mind, talk about two ways we can repeat information. One is called maintenance rehearsal. The other is called elaborative rehearsal. Those names sound a little complicated, so let's make them simple. Maintenance rehearsal is cramming. It is what you do when you are trying to hold information in your head for just a few seconds. Imagine someone tells you a phone number. You need to dial it right away. What do? You say it to yourself over and over and over. 555 1234. 555 1234. You are not thinking about what the numbers mean. You are not connecting them to anything. You are just chanting them to keep them alive for a moment. This is maintenance. You are just maintaining the information. It hangs out in your short-term memory. But as soon as you stop repeating it, as soon as you dial the number, poof, it is gone. It is a temporary fix for temporary information. It is not for real learning. Now let's talk about the second way. This is the secret key. It is called elaborative rehearsal. This is the key to true, deep, long-term memory. Elaboration means you actively think about the meaning of the information. You do not just repeat it. You ask questions about it. You play with it. And most importantly, you connect it to things you already know. Instead of just repeating a fact, you are weaving it into the beautiful fabric that is already in your mind. You are connecting the new thread to all the other threads. This is also called deep processing. When you do this, you force your brain to work. You force it to build strong, meaningful connections, new roads and bridges inside your mind. And when the connections are strong, the information is so much easier to find and recall later. Think about it like this. Cramming or maintenance rehearsal is like pitching a tent on loose sand at the beach. You can get it up. It stands there for a little while, but the first time a strong wind comes, the whole tent goes flying away. It is gone. It was never really secure. Now think about elaboration. Elaboration is like digging a deep foundation for your tent. It is like pouring concrete and anchoring your tent with strong steel pillars. Now when the wind comes, the tent is stable. It is integrated. It is built to last. It is not going anywhere. This is what we want for our memories. We want them to be stable and strong. So you ask, how do I actually do this? How do I practice this elaboration? It is simpler than you think. Here are 3 simple, powerful steps to start. First step, ask why and how. When you learn a new concept, a new idea, do not just accept it as a fact. Become a detective. Interrogate it. Ask it questions. Ask yourself, why is this true? Ask yourself, how does this work? For example, in a science class, you might learn a fact. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Many people just memorize this sentence. Mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell. Mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell. This is maintenance rehearsal. This is the tent on the sand. To practice elaboration, you must ask more. Ask, why is it called a powerhouse? What does that mean? Ask, how does it actually make power? What is the process? You might learn it makes something called ATP. Then you ask, what is ATP? Why is it important for the cell? This process of asking why and how pushes you past the simple, boring definition. It forces you to grapple with the real ideas behind the fact. You are digging the foundation. Okay, here's the second step. This one is maybe the most powerful of all. Connect it to your world. Link new information to your own life, to your own memories, to your own feelings. Our brains love stories, especially stories about ourselves. If you are learning a new word in English, like nostalgic, the book says it means feeling happy and a little sad when you remember the past. Instead of just repeating that, connect it. Think about a time you felt nostalgic. Maybe you smelled a food that your grandmother used to make, and for a moment you felt like you were back in her kitchen as a child. You felt happy to remember, but a little sad that that time is gone. That feeling that is nostalgia. Now you have linked the abstract word nostalgic to a real memory, a real feeling, a real smell. You have given your brain a personal, powerful hook, a special place to find that word later. The word is not just a word anymore. It is a part of your story. And the third step. This one is a great test of your understanding. Explain it like I'm 5, or explain it in very, very simple terms. After you read a section of a book or watch a lesson, close the book. Put your notes away. Now, try to explain the main ideas out loud. Speak the words. And pretend you are explaining it to a child or to someone who knows nothing about the topic. If you find yourself getting stuck, or if you are just using the big, complicated words from the book, the jargon, that is a huge red flag. It is a signal. It is telling you that you do not really understand it yet. True understanding is the ability to translate complex ideas into simple ones. If you can say it simply, you know it deeply. This idea of deep processing, of elaboration, is the foundation for everything else. It is the solid ground we will build everything on. Before you try to remember anything, first you must try to understand it. Make this your new mantra, your new guiding thought. Connection, not collection. I am not just collecting facts, I am building connections. Section 2, the engine of memory, active recall. So we have laid the foundation. We know that our first goal is to understand deeply, to connect new ideas to what we already know. Now we need the engine. We need the powerful machine that will drive that information into our long-term memory. That engine is called active recall. I want to say this very clearly, my friend. Active recall is, without a doubt, the most powerful learning technique that science has ever found. It is the superpower of learning. And yet most students completely ignore it. They do not even know it exists. But you will know, and it will change everything for you. So, what is active recall? Let's make the name simple. Active means you are doing something. Recall means you are bringing something back from your memory. So, active recall is the act of pulling information out of your brain. This is the opposite of passive review. In passive review, you are putting information in. You are reading, you are watching. With active recall, you are not putting information in. You are closing the book, you are looking away, and you are asking your brain, okay, brain, what do we know? Active recall is testing yourself. It is forcing your brain to find the answer without any hints, without any help. Let me give you a picture for your mind. Imagine your memory is like a path in a big green forest. The first time you learn something new, it is like you walk through the forest and create a very faint trail, a tiny path. It is hard to see. There are leaves and branches all over it. Now, if you just use passive review, that is like looking at a map of the forest. You look at the map and you see the line for the trail. Does looking at the map make the real path in the forest clearer? No, of course not. The path itself does not change. But every time you force yourself to walk that path again without the map, every time you use active recall, you stomp down the weeds. You clear away the fallen branches. You make the path wider. You make it deeper. Slowly, that faint little trail turns into a wide, clear, easy-to-follow road. This is not just a story. This is literally what is happening inside your brain. Every time you successfully retrieve a memory, you strengthen the neural pathways for that memory. You are making the road in your brain better. This makes the memory faster and easier to use in the future. The science on this is so clear. There was a famous study in the year 2008. In this study, they found that testing yourself just one time was more effective for long-term memory than rereading a chapter 4 times. Think about that. One session of active recall was better than 4 sessions of passive review. More recent research found similar things. They found that students who used active recall in their studying scored about 20% higher on their tests than students who just reread their notes. This is not a small change. This is not a tiny improvement. It is a total game changer. So the big question is, how do you actually use active recall? How do you make it a part of your life? This is not something you save for the night before the exam. No. You have to make it a constant part of how you learn from the very beginning. Let me share 3 simple, powerful methods you can start using today. Method number 1. It is called the blank sheet method. Some people call it the blurting method. This is one of the simplest and best ways to practice active recall. Here's what you do. After you study a topic, maybe you read a chapter in your book or you finish an online lesson. First, you close your book, you turn off the video. Then you grab a completely blank sheet of paper and empty page. Without looking at your notes or the book, write down everything you can remember about the topic. Everything. Just blurt it all out onto the page. Try to organize it if you can. Use headings. Use bullet points. Draw little pictures or diagrams. Whatever helps you structure the information. Just keep writing until you feel like you have squeezed every last drop of information out of your memory. When you are finished and you can't remember anything more, now you open your textbook or your notes. And you take a pen with a different color, maybe a red pen or a green pen. With this new color, you fill in everything you missed. You add the important details you forgot. You correct any mistakes you made. This one simple exercise is incredible. It does 2 things. First, it forces you to practice retrieval. You are walking the path in the forest. You are strengthening everything that you do know. Second, that 2-tone sheet of paper, the one with 2 colors, is now a perfect map of your knowledge. It is a diagnostic tool. It shows you with perfect, brutal honesty exactly what you know well, that's the first color. And exactly what you do not know well, that's the second color. The parts you wrote in the second color are your weak spots. And now you know exactly where you need to focus your attention. You do not have to waste time reviewing things you already know. You can focus only on your weak spots. It is so efficient. Okay, here's the second method. Method number 2. Question, don't summarize. This is about changing the way you take notes. Most of us take notes by writing down statements, facts. For example, in a history class, you might write, the Treaty of Versailles was signed in 1919 and forced Germany to pay reparations. This is a summary. It is a passive statement. To turn this into an active recall tool, we just flip it. We turn the statement into a question. So instead of that sentence, you would write, what were the main punishments of the Treaty of Versailles, which was signed in 1919? Do you see the difference? It is a small change, but it changes everything. Your notes are no longer a boring document that you have to reread. Now your notes are a quiz that you built for yourself. When it is time to review, your job is not to read your notes. Your job is to cover up the answers and look at the questions, and you try to answer them from your memory. Every note becomes a little active recall challenge. Let's try one for learning English. Instead of writing, the past tense of go is went. You can write, what is the past tense of the verb go? This way, every time you review your vocabulary notes, you are testing yourself. You are strengthening that memory path. Okay, method number 3. Method number 3, better flashcards. Flashcards are a classic tool for active recall, but most people use them in a very passive, ineffective way. What do most people do? They put a term on one side and a definition on the other. For example, front side, mitochondria. Back side, powerhouse of the cell. This is okay, but it is not great. It only tests if you can recognize the term. It is very simple memory. To make your flashcards truly powerful, they need to make you think. They need to be deeper. First, make your flashcards question-based. So instead of just the word mitochondria on the front, write a real question like, how does a cell generate the energy it needs to live? This is a much better question. It forces you to think about the whole process. Then the answer on the back can explain the whole process, including the mitochondria and ATP. You are recalling a concept, not just a word. Second, use your flashcards both ways. Do not just go from the question to the answer, sometimes flip it. Look at the answer on the back, and then try to remember what was the question. This helps you build more flexible knowledge. You can access the information from different starting points. And third, and this is so important, my friend, say the answer out loud. When you are using your flashcards, do not just answer in your head. It is so easy to cheat when you answer in your head. You look at the question and you think to yourself, oh, yeah, I kind of know that. It is something about energy. You flip the card over and see the answer and you think, yes, I knew that. But did you really? Or did you just recognize it? You must keep yourself honest. Force yourself to say the full answer out loud or write it down on a piece of paper. This will immediately show you where your knowledge is shaky, where you are not so sure. It makes the illusion of knowing disappear. Now, I want to share one last very important thing about active recall. One of the biggest reasons people avoid it is because it feels hard. It is a struggle. You will sit there with that blank sheet of paper and you will feel frustrated. Your mind will feel empty. You might think, oh no, this is too hard. I am failing. I can't do it. Please listen to me. That feeling of difficulty, that feeling of struggle, that is not a sign that you are failing. That feeling of difficulty is the feeling of learning. Cognitive scientists, the people who study how we think, have a name for this. They call it desirable difficulty. Desirable means good, wanted. It is a good kind of difficulty. Learning that feels easy is often forgotten learning. The effort you use to retrieve a memory sends a powerful signal to your brain. The struggle tells your brain, hey, this is important. This was hard to find. Do not throw this away. Keep it. So I invite you to change your thinking about this feeling. When you feel that struggle, do not run away from it. Embrace it. Welcome it. Smile and say to yourself, this is it. This is the feeling of my brain getting stronger. Embrace the struggle, because that struggle is how you build a memory that lasts forever. Section 3, the master key to long-term retention, spaced repetition. Okay, my friend, we are building our new house of learning. First, we laid the foundation. We learned to use elaboration to understand things deeply. Then, we installed the powerful engine. We learned to use active recall to strengthen our memories. Now we need to make sure that this beautiful, strong house stays with us for good. We need to make sure the memory sticks around for months and years. How do we do that? The answer is a beautiful, elegant idea called spaced repetition. If active recall is the powerful engine, then spaced repetition is the master key to long-term memory. Remember the forgetting curve from the beginning? That sad, steep drop that shows how quickly we forget things. Spaced repetition is the perfect antidote to the forgetting curve. It is the medicine that cures it. Spaced repetition works by interrupting the process of forgetting at just the right moment. The idea is brilliantly simple. You review information at increasing intervals of time. Increasing intervals means the spaces between your reviews get longer and longer. Let me show you how it works. Imagine you learn a new important concept today. Let's say it is the blank sheet method. So today you learn it, and you do one active recall session on it. Maybe you try it once, then you review it again tomorrow. Now here's the magic. Because you're trying to recall it just as it is starting to fade from your memory, you send a super powerful signal to your brain. Your brain gets the message. Hey, pay attention. I needed this information again. This must be important. Don't throw it out. This act of recalling it again resets the forgetting curve. The curve starts over. But now something amazing has happened. The slope of the curve is less steep. It is flatter. You will forget it more slowly this time. So maybe you wait 3 or 4 days for your next review. When you try to recall it after a few days, it might still be a little tough. You have to struggle a little bit. That's good. Desirable difficulty. But you get it. You remember the blank sheet method. Boom. The forgetting curve resets again. And this time it is even flatter than before. Your next review might be in 1 week. Then the next one might be in 2 weeks. Then a month. Then 3 months. Each time you successfully recall the information, you earn the right to wait longer before the next review. This process is like systematically transferring a file on your computer. You are moving the memory from your brain's temporary cache, its short-term memory, to its permanent hard drive, your amazing, huge, long-term memory. Spaced repetition works because it is so incredibly efficient. It is smart. You study the material right at the sweet spot, that perfect moment, right when you are about to forget it. If you review too soon, when the memory is still very strong, you are wasting your time. It is too easy. There is no struggle. If you review too late, when the memory is completely gone, you are also wasting time. You have to relearn it from the very beginning. Spaced repetition helps you find that perfect middle ground. Modern science has confirmed this idea again and again and again. Compared to cramming all your studying into one night, spaced learning can boost your long-term retention by a huge amount. Some studies show improvements of over 50%. So the question is, how do you actually do this? It sounds complicated. Do you need a crazy calendar and a lot of planning? No. You have 2 main options, a simple manual one and an easy digital one. Let's start with the manual method. It is a very clever system called the Lightner system. All you need are your flashcards and a few boxes, maybe 5 empty shoe boxes, or you can just make 5 piles on your desk. And you label them. Box 1, Box 2, Box 3, Box 4, and Box 5. Here's how it works. Box number 1 is for all your new cards. Every flashcard you make starts in Box 1. You review the cards in this box every single day. When you review a card, if you get the answer right, hooray! The card gets promoted. It graduates. It moves up to box number 2. But if you get the answer wrong, oh no, the card gets demoted. It has to stay in box 1. Now, what about box number 2? You review the cards in this box less often, maybe every other day or every 2 days. When you review a card from box 2, if you get it right, great. it gets promoted to box 3. But if you get it wrong, it gets demoted all the way back to the beginning. It goes all the way back to box 1. This is important. Wrong answers always send the card back to box 1. Box number 3. You review these cards maybe once a week. If you get it right, it moves to box 4. If you get it wrong, back to box 1. Box number 4, you might review every 2 weeks. And box number 5 is for the cards you know really, really well, your master cards. You might review these only once a month. But the rule is always the same, even if a card is in the very last box, box 5. If you ever get it wrong, it goes all the way back to the start, back to box 1. The beauty of this system is that it organizes itself. It is self-regulating. The cards you struggle with, the hard cards, they will automatically stay in the first boxes. You will see them very often, every day or every 2 days. The cards you know well, the easy cards, they will quickly move to the higher boxes. You will see them less and less often. This saves you a huge amount of time. You are not wasting time on things you already know. You are automatically focusing your energy on the things that need the most work. Okay, so that is the manual method, the Leitner system. It is a great system. But let's be honest, it is a lot of work to manage the boxes and move the cards. This is where technology can be your best friend. This brings us to the second option, the digital method, using spaced repetition software, or SRS. Spaced repetition software is a computer program or an app that does all the scheduling for you. It automates the entire Leitner system and makes it even smarter. The most famous, most powerful, and best of all, free program is called Anki. A-N-K-I. Anki. With Anki, you make digital flashcards on your computer or your phone. When it is time to study, the program shows you a card. You try to recall the answer in your head or out loud. Then you click to show the answer. And now you have to be a judge. You have to tell the program how hard it was for you to remember. At the bottom of the screen, you will see some buttons. They usually say something like, again, hard, good, and easy. If you could not remember the answer at all, you press again. If you remembered, but it was a big struggle, you press hard. If you remembered it pretty well, you press good. And if the answer was super, super easy for you, you press easy. Based on which button you press, Anki's smart algorithm calculates the perfect time to show you that card again. A card you marked again might show up in 1 minute or 10 minutes. A card you marked hard might show up again tomorrow. A card you marked good might show up in 3 days. And a card you marked easy might not show up again for 2 months. Anki takes all the guesswork out of scheduling. You just have to show up each day, open the app, and trust the process. It will only show you the cards that are ready to be reviewed on that day. My friend, active recall and spaced repetition are the power couple of learning. They are the king and queen of memory. Active recall is the workout that builds your memory muscle. And spaced repetition is the expert personal trainer who schedules your workouts for maximum results with minimum wasted time. Using these two techniques together is the closest thing to a magic formula for learning that we have. Section 4. The ultimate proof of understanding. The Feynman Technique. Okay. We have learned so much together today. We know how to understand information deeply with elaboration. We know how to strengthen it with active recall. And we know how to retain it for a long time with spaced repetition. Now, I want to share one final technique with you. This technique ties everything together. It is like a final exam for your own knowledge. It is the ultimate test to prove that you truly understand something. This technique is called the Feynman Technique. It is named after a man named Richard Feynman. Richard Feynman was a Nobel Prize-winning physicist. He was a super genius. But he was not famous for being a genius. He was famous for being an amazing teacher. He had a special gift for explaining ridiculously complex ideas like quantum physics in ways that were simple, beautiful, and easy to understand. Feynman had a belief. He believed that if you could not explain something simply, you did not really understand it at all. This technique is based on his philosophy. It forces you to confront what you do not know, and then it helps you fix it. It is a simple, beautiful 4-step process. Let's walk through it together. Step 1. Pick a concept and study it. This is pretty simple. Choose a topic you want to learn. Read the chapter in the book. Watch the video lesson. Do whatever you normally do to learn the material for the first time. Then take a blank sheet of paper, and at the very top, write the name of the concept. For example, photosynthesis. That's it for step 1. Easy. Now for step 2. This is where the magic happens. Step 2. Teach it to a child. Underneath the title on your paper, explain the concept in your own words. But here's the key. Pretend you are teaching it to a 12-year-old child. Why a child? Because it forces you to get rid of all the complicated jargon, all the fancy academic words, all the long, confusing sentences. You cannot hide behind fancy words when you are talking to a child. You have to use simple language. You have to use clear examples and good analogies. Let's take an example. The economic idea of inflation. A textbook might explain it like this. Inflation is a general increase in prices and a fall in the purchasing value of money. If you explained it that way to a 12-year-old, their eyes would glaze over. They would be so bored and confused. To use the Feynman technique, you have to simplify it. You might say something like this. Okay, imagine that last year, a yummy chocolate cookie cost $1. You could take your $1 coin and buy one cookie. Now imagine it is this year, and you go to the same store. But today, the exact same cookie costs $2. Your $1 coin cannot buy the cookie anymore. It can only buy half a cookie. Your dollar just can't buy as much as it used to. Its power to buy things has gone down. That's inflation. Do you see how much clearer that is? How much more intuitive? When you try to simplify an idea like this, it will immediately and automatically show you where the holes in your own understanding are. You will be writing or talking, and suddenly you will pause. You will get confused. You will think to yourself, wait a minute, how does that part actually work? How do I explain that simply? That moment of confusion, that is the goal. That is where the real learning happens. This brings us to step 3. Step 3, find your knowledge gaps and fix them. Every time you get stuck in your explanation, every time you have to use a jargon word because you do not know the simple way to say it, every time your explanation feels fuzzy or unclear, that is a knowledge gap. That is a weak spot. Take a pen and circle it on your paper. Highlight it. These are your treasures. They are not failures. They are a map showing you exactly what you need to learn next. Now you go back to your textbook or your notes, but you go back with a specific mission. Your mission is to understand just those specific things. The things you circled to understand them well enough that you can explain them simply. You fill in your gaps. And that leads to the final step. Step 4. Step 4, review and simplify again. Once you have filled in your knowledge gaps, try your explanation again from the top. Read your simple explanation out loud. Does it flow? Is it a smooth, clear, simple story? Keep refining your words. Keep improving your analogies. Keep polishing it until your explanation is so clear and beautiful that a child could genuinely understand it. Once you have that single, elegant page of simple notes, you have done it. You have truly, deeply mastered the concept. You own it. It is yours forever. The Feynman Technique is so powerful because it is not just one technique. It combines everything we have talked about. It is a form of active recall because you are pulling the information from your brain. It is a form of elaboration because it forces you to make connections and use analogies. And most importantly, it completely shatters the illusion of knowing. You cannot fake simplicity. When you can take something complex and teach it in simple terms, you have proven to yourself and to the world that you own that knowledge. It is a part of you now. Section 5. The Architect of Memory, Visualization and Association. Our brains are amazing, but they were not designed in a classroom. For millions of years, our ancestors' survival did not depend on remembering abstract facts and numbers. Their survival depended on remembering real physical things. Where's the water hole? What does the face of a friendly tribe member look like? What is the shape of that dangerous predator hiding in the grass? Our brains are, at their core, visual and spatial machines. They are built to remember pictures and places. The final techniques I want to share with you leverage this ancient, powerful system. They use your brain's natural strengths to make information stick like glue. Let's call this being the architect of your memory. An architect designs buildings. You will design structures for your memories. Technique number 1, mind mapping. Think about how you usually take notes, probably on a lined piece of paper. You write from top to bottom, left to right, line after line after line. This is called linear note-taking. It is very organized. But our thoughts are not linear. Our thoughts are messy. They are interconnected webs. One idea connects to another, which connects to 5 more. It is a beautiful explosion of connections. A mind map is a diagram that mirrors this natural structure of our thinking. It is a visual way to organize information. Because it is visual, it engages both parts of your brain, the logical, word-based part and the creative, picture-based part. When you use more of your brain to learn something, you encode it more deeply. Studies have shown that mind mapping can improve memory and retention by 10 to 15% compared to just writing lines of text. So how do you make a mind map? It is fun and easy. First, start in the middle. Take a blank page, no lines. Turn it sideways so it is wide. In the very center of the page, write your main topic. For example, the solar system. Then draw a circle or a cloud around it. Second, branch out. For each major subtopic, draw a thick colored branch coming from the center circle. So from the solar system, you might have a branch for the sun, another branch for inner planets, another branch for outer planets. It is good to use different colors for each main branch. It makes it more visual. Third, add keywords and doodles. This is the most important part. From your main branches, you will draw smaller and smaller branches for the details. But here's the key. Use only 1 or 2 keywords per branch. Do not write full sentences. The goal is to create a visual trigger, not a wall of text that you have to read. So from your inner planets branch, you might have 4 small branches. One says Mercury, one says Venus, one says Earth, one says Mars. And wherever you can, add a simple drawing, a doodle. You do not have to be a great artist. Next to Earth, draw a little blue and green circle. Next to the sun, draw a bright yellow circle with rays. An image is processed by your brain so much faster than a word, and it is remembered far better. Finally, make connections. As you build your map, look for relationships. Draw dotted lines and arrows to connect related ideas on different branches. This is a form of elaboration. You are actively building that web of knowledge in a visual way. When you are done, your finished mind map gives you a single-page overview of an entire topic. You can see the big picture. You can see how everything fits together. And the process of making it the act of thinking, organizing, choosing keywords, and drawing forces you to process the information very deeply. Okay, now for our second visual technique. This one is ancient, and it is incredibly powerful. It is called the memory palace, or the method of loci. Loci means places in Latin. This technique was used by great speakers in ancient Rome. They used it to memorize speeches that lasted for hours and hours. Memory champions today still use this exact technique to do incredible things, like memorizing the order of 10 shuffled decks of cards. It sounds crazy. It sounds like a magic trick for geniuses. But it is not. It is something anyone can learn, because it works by piggybacking on your brain's amazing spatial memory. Your memory for places. Let's build your very first small memory palace right now, together. Step 1. Choose a familiar place. Pick a location that you know like the back of your hand. Your house, your apartment, your childhood home. A place you can easily walk through in your mind with your eyes closed. Let's choose your current home for this example. Step 2. Define a specific route. You need to plan a fixed path through your palace, a journey that you will always walk in the same order. For example, you start outside at your front door, then you walk into the hallway, then you turn left into the living room. In the living room, you go to the couch first, then the coffee table, then the television, and so on. The route must always be the same. Front door, hallway, couch, coffee table, TV. Step 3. Identify distinct locations. Along this route, you need to pick specific spots where you will store your information. These are your loci, your places. For our first palace, let's just pick 5 loci. Number 1, your doormat. Number 2, the coat rack in the hallway. Number 3, the couch in the living room. Number 4, the coffee table. Number 5, the television. You can see these places clearly in your mind, right? Okay, now for the fun part. Step 4. Step 4, place bizarre images. Now you take the list of things you want to memorize, and for each item, you create a crazy, strange, multi-sensory image. An image that is funny or weird or even a little violent. Our brains are great at remembering things that are unusual and emotional. Then you mentally place that bizarre image at one of your loci. Let's try to memorize the first 5 presidents of the United States. The list is Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe. Okay, close your eyes. Let's take a walk through your memory palace. We are at locus number 1, your doormat. Imagine you arrive at your front door and you see a man. He is on his knees, and he is furiously washing a ton of laundry on your doormat. There are soap bubbles everywhere. He is scrubbing the clothes. See it. Hear the splashing water. He is washing a ton. This is for Washington. Okay, now you open the door and walk to locus number 2, the coat rack. What do you see? Hanging from the coat rack is not a coat. It is a giant, throbbing Adam's apple. That lump in a person's throat. It is huge, it is red, and it is pulsing with light. It is so strange to see it hanging there. This is for Adams. Now we walk into the living room to locus number 3, the couch. On your beautiful couch, there is a man in a chef's hat. It is your chef's son, and he is frantically kneading dough, making bread. There is flour flying everywhere. It's all over your couch. You feel angry. See the white flour. Smell the dough. Your chef's son. This is for Jefferson. Next, we move to locus number 4, the coffee table. Look at your coffee table. On top of it, a tiny little doll of a maid is standing, and she is really angry. She is screaming at the sun. The sun is blasting a hot ray of light through your window right onto the coffee table. And the maid is yelling at the sun. A maid sun. This is for Madison. Finally, we go to locus number 5, your television. Look at the TV screen. It is on, and it is playing a clip of the famous actress Marilyn Monroe. But she is doing something very strange. She is in a little boat, and she is rowing the boat across the screen. Marilyn Monroe. Rowing a boat. Monroe. This is for Monroe. Okay, open your eyes. Now, to recall the list of presidents in order, you do not have to think hard at all. You just take a mental walk through your house. What's at the doormat? The man washing a ton. Washington. What's on the coat rack? The giant Adam's apple? Adams. What's on the couch? Your chef's son. Jefferson. What's on the coffee table? The maid yelling at the sun. Madison. What's on the TV? Marilyn Monroe rowing a boat. Monroe. Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe. The order is effortless. It is easy. Because you tied the abstract information names to a journey you already know perfectly. This is how your brain was built to remember. Use its natural power. Section 6. The Unsung Heroes, Environment and Lifestyle. My friend, the techniques we have learned are so incredibly powerful. Elaboration, active recall, spaced repetition, the Feynman Technique, visualization. But their effectiveness, their power can be supercharged and made even stronger. Or they can be completely sabotaged, completely ruined. It all depends on your lifestyle. There are 2 unsung heroes of memory, 2 quiet champions that we must talk about. You cannot ignore them. They are sleep and focus. Let's talk about the first one. Number 1, sleep. Your brain's memory manager. So many of us, especially students, see sleep as an enemy. We see it as wasted time, time that cuts into our precious studying hours. My friend, please hear me. This is a catastrophic mistake. A very, very big mistake. Sleep is not a passive activity. Your brain is not turned off. In fact, when you are sleeping, your brain is working very hard for you. It is during sleep that most of the memory consolidation actually happens. Consolidation is the process of making memories stable and permanent. Here is a simple way to think about it. During the day when you are learning new things, your brain temporarily stores this new information in a part of your brain called the hippocampus. Think of the hippocampus as a small USB stick or a small memory card. It is very useful, but it has limited space. It can get full very quickly. Now, when you go into deep sleep at night, your brain does something amazing. It replays the important events and learnings of the day, like watching little movies of your day. As it replays these memories, it strengthens the neural connections. It builds up those pathways in the forest. And then it transfers those important memories from the small temporary USB stick to the massive giant hard drive of your brain's long-term memory, the neocortex. This hard drive has almost unlimited space. This means that pulling an all-nighter, staying up all night to study before an exam, is one of the absolute worst things you can possibly do for your memory. You are working so hard to put information onto the USB stick, but then you are denying your brain the quiet time it needs to perform the transfer. You are not giving it the chance to move the files to the hard drive. So what happens? The USB stick gets full and the information just gets deleted to make room for the next day. A good night's sleep after studying is far, far more productive than a few more hours of exhausted, miserable cramming. Sleep is not a luxury. It is a biological necessity for learning. Here's a little pro tip for you. Doing a quick review of the material right before you fall asleep can be especially effective. It is like giving your brain a little note. Hey brain, while you're doing your work tonight, please pay special attention to this information. It helps to cue your brain to work on consolidating that specific information overnight. Okay. Now for the second unsung hero. Number 2, focus, the gatekeeper of memory. This one is very simple and very direct. Attention is the gatekeeper of your memory. It stands at the front door of your mind. If information does not get past the gatekeeper, if you are not truly paying attention, then none of these other amazing techniques matter. Elaboration, active recall, none of it can work. There is no information inside to work with. In our world today, the number one enemy of focus is multitasking. You might think you are good at it. You might think you can study your history book while also checking your phone notifications, while also keeping a YouTube video playing in the background. But here's the hard scientific truth. Multitasking is a lie. It is a myth. It is not real. Your brain cannot focus on 2 demanding things at the exact same time. It is impossible. What you are really doing is called task switching. Your attention is not in 2 places at once. It is bouncing back and forth very, very rapidly. From the book to the phone, to the video, to the book, to the phone, to the video. Switch, switch, switch. And every time you switch, there is a cost. It is called a cognitive cost. It shatters your concentration into a million little pieces. It breaks your flow, and it cripples your brain's ability to encode information properly. The information that gets in is weak, fragmented, and full of holes. you end up in a state of what they call continuous partial attention. You are paying a little bit of attention to everything, but paying full attention to nothing. This state is a total disaster for real learning. To study well, to learn deeply, you must create a fortress of focus. You must protect your attention. Here are a few simple ways to do that. First, have a distraction-free zone. Find a specific place in your home, a desk, a chair, where the only thing you ever do is study. No eating, no social media, no watching movies. When you sit there, your brain knows it is time to focus. Second, put your phone in another room. I'm serious about this. Do not just turn it over. Do not just put it on silent. Studies have shown that the mere sight of your smartphone, even if it is turned off, can reduce your available cognitive capacity. It steals a little bit of your brain power because part of your brain is working to not pick it up. So be strong. Put it in a different room for your study session. And third, use a timer. There is a wonderful method called the Pomodoro Technique. It is very simple. You set a timer for 25 minutes. For those 25 minutes, you focus on only one task. No distractions. When the timer rings, you put a check mark on a paper and you take a short break. About 5 minutes. Stretch, get some water, look out the window. After 4 of these Pomodoros, you take a longer break, maybe 15 or 30 minutes. This technique is an amazing way to train your attention span. It makes focus feel like a game, not a chore. My friend, please treat your focus like the precious, limited, and valuable resource it is. Protect it. Defend it. 1 hour of fully focused, deep work is worth more than 3 or 4 hours of distracted, shallow studying. It is not about how long you study. It is about how deeply you focus. All right, that was a lot of information we shared together. But I want to remind you of something important. Knowledge is useless without action. Learning about these techniques is not enough. You have to use them. So I have a gentle challenge for you, an invitation. In the comments section below, if you feel comfortable, I would love for you to tell me the number 1 technique from this podcast that you are excited to try. The one that you will use in your very next study session. Is it the blank sheet method? Is it making question-based flashcards in Anki? Is it trying the Feynman Technique on a difficult subject? By writing it down, you make a small promise to yourself. You make it real. Committing to it is the first step. I would be so honored to read your commitment and cheer for you. And if you want more science-backed, gentle strategies to help you learn smarter, feel more confident, and boost your productivity, make sure to subscribe to our podcast and turn on notifications. That way, you will not miss what is next in our journey together. Let's bring it all together. Let's look back at the beautiful path we have walked today. The path to remembering what you study is not complicated. It is not a secret for geniuses. It is a clear path that you can walk. It starts with a change of heart. Understanding your true goal. You will build connections with elaborative rehearsal instead of just passively collecting facts. Connection, not collection. Then you install the powerful engine of memory, active recall. You will constantly test yourself. You will embrace the feeling of struggle because now you know that is the feeling of building strong memories. You will master time with spaced repetition, working with your brain's natural rhythms, not against them. You will lock in knowledge for the long, long haul. You will prove to yourself that you have mastered a topic with the Feynman Technique, forcing yourself to explain things simply and finding joy in that beautiful simplicity. You will become a memory architect. You will use visualization to leverage your brain's ancient, powerful systems with tools like mind maps and memory palaces. And finally, you will support this whole amazing system with the two unsung heroes: sleep and focus. You will treat sleep as a critical part of the learning process, and you will protect your attention like it is gold, because it is. My dear friend, the ability to learn effectively is the ultimate meta skill. It is the skill that helps you build all other skills. It will help you in school. It will help you in your career. It will help you in every single part of your life where you want to grow and learn. That frustrating cycle of cramming and forgetting is not your destiny. It is not a life sentence. You do not have to be born a genius to have an incredible memory. You just have to stop using the ineffective, passive strategies we were all taught by mistake, and start using the active, effective strategies that science has proven again and again actually work. You have the blueprint now. You have the map. The tools are in your hands. Now go build a better brain, a stronger, more confident mind. Remember to be kind to yourself on this journey. Learning takes time. It is a process of small, patient steps. Keep going. You're doing wonderfully. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. It has been a joy and an honor to be your guide. Until we meet again, take good care. See you next time, my friend.